Good evening, this is Andre Faust, and I'm going to give you the latest update on the outcome of the Halifax Postal Blockade. Yes, there were 6 individuals that were arraigned for their participation in the protest, and they are trade unionist activist Tony Tracy, Justin Taylor, Austin Hills, Art Bauman, Darius Mirshashi. I hope that I got that right. Don't shoot me if I didn't. At least give me an E for effort. And Brad Forgra. I think that's the way it's pronounced. His last name is pronounced. Anyway, they were all 6 were charged with obstruction and justice Monday afternoon, which would have been yesterday. I keep these weird hours now, so I don't know what day today is actually, and sometimes I question even what year that I'm at. Some people question if I'm really in this real world. I don't know. Anyway, that's the way the old cookie crumbles, I guess. So why did this come about? Okay, so let's back the clock a bit. 50,000 postal employees were working without a contract for a year. There were some issues that they wanted resolved with Canada Post, and one of them was safe working conditions, job security, and forced overtime. I had a senior moment there. I had to sit and think. Too many ideas coming in at the same time. So those were the 3 big ones, and then there was another issue which wasn't as pronounced, but it had to do with pay equity. What Canada Post employees were saying was that their urban counterparts, the rural workers, they're paid by the size of their route versus the urban postal worker who's paid by the hour. And when those rural workers clock in, they clock in with less time. So in essence, they're getting paid less than their urban counterparts. So that was one of the issues, but it wasn't the main. I mentioned the 3 main issues. Those were the ones. Anyway, Canada Post refused to give in anyway, so it went through all the steps there. The mediator was brought in, and they tried to get the 2 sides to agree, and that all went to heck. Nothing happened. So the postal workers went on strike. They did something which I thought was very much above board. They gave a 5 days notice rather than the legal required 72 hours. So they gave Canada Post plenty of notice of their intent to strike. So we now have the postal workers striking, and it's a rotating strike. So today could be Toronto, tomorrow could be Fredericton, the next day could be Halifax. How much disruption did that do? I don't know. Like, personally, I didn't feel really anything from it, but I do a lot of online shopping, and I just never really noticed it. And also, I check my mail once a week, maybe once a month if I'm lucky. I just don't pay attention to that kind of stuff. Usually there's nothing good in the mail anyway. Things like bills and that. Who wants to look at that reality? Yeah, right. And that. So now we have our postal workers ordered back to work. So they're now back in the sorting plants sorting. So across Canada, non-postal workers came to support the postal workers by conducting their own little picket lines, stopping mail from coming in and going out. So nothing in, nothing out. That's what picket lines are all about. Very, very, very good campaign. Well, Halifax, things went a little strange there. The city police came in. Now, we don't really know who called the city police. Was it Canada Post or was it some concerned citizen? That we don't know. All we know that they arrived. And of course, the city police were really conscientious on playing the public relations game. Unlike the old days, now everybody's got a camera, so their actions is under scrutiny, and they definitely didn't want to see, something that happened in the United States a while back, the Rodney King shit kicking that the LA police did. That's because somebody happened to record it. Well, the Halifax police didn't want that. Also, they don't have a good reputation with the black community of Halifax. So, in front of the cameras, they were on their best behaviors. They played all the public relations. They showed, patience, rationality, to convince the protesters to stand on the sidewalks and be inert. Well, of course, I mean, that was useless. The protesters just said, no, we're not. No, that's not going to happen tonight. So the police then went and said, well, you have to, because you're posing a public threat. You're endangering public safety. Well, Monaghan Street is a dead-end street. So how can a dead-end street create public safety? And the way the police made it sound like, they were really causing chaos. I don't even know how long that street is. From looking at the map, it doesn't look like it's a long map. And talking about the map, here I'll give you an example. Well, not example. I'll show you what Monaghan Street looks like on the map. Yeah, that's a dead-end street, all right. Now, it's unfortunate that these people did get arrested. Typically, what usually happens, or in my experience of protests and police and courts, is that they arrest you, they charge you. That's when they arraign you. That's a formal charge. Once you're arraigned, they pick a trial date, and when the trial date comes, your lawyers and the Crown gets together and the charges are dropped. The whole purpose of the arrest thing is to break the protest up. Once that goal's been accomplished, then there's really no need for the system to carry through. However, this one might be a little different, because these types of blockades happened across Canada, and they were all non-postal workers. They were third-party people that were getting involved. In Halifax, it was the labor groups that got involved. Some of them might have been unionized, some of them may have not. Anyway, they were there to give support. But this happened across Canada in several cities. So this may be a little different on how the system wants to treat these 6 individuals. They may want to create a message right across the board, to create that chill factor. And when you strip it all down and analyze it, really, it's a game of power, right? The federal, the Canada Post says that we're the big bad old corporation. We've got our employees by the balls. They've got to get down on their hands and knees and bow down to us. And now they petition the government, and the government says, okay, we'll enforce the back to work legislation, and they're forced back. That's how the game is played, but it's a power game. So now you have the power of the corporation, and you have the power of the federal government. But what they didn't count on was that these third-party, I'll call them interveners, intervene and set up their own blockades. That wasn't expected. So that new strategy, we can expect some kind of retaliation from what I'll call the power structure or the power elites to discourage any future protests of this type. So with that, I'll end on a note. Have a good one. Take care. And bonsoir, or good morning, whatever day this falls on. Till then.